My parents demanded I pay for my golden child brother's college tuition, but I refused. This led my mother to spread lies about me to our family and assault my girlfriend. My brother Jake has always been the favorite, spoiled and coddled by my parents, while I worked for every dime I had. Jake received a $50 allowance at 14, whereas I had to fend for myself. This, however, made me successful as I learned that nothing is free. Jake hasn't learned this lesson yet. When Jake wanted to attend a fancy college, my parents demanded I pay for it, arguing that family helps each other. I refused. My mother threatened to disown me if I didn't comply. Shocked, I agreed to meet them to discuss it. When I arrived, they immediately started talking about the deadlines and fees I'd have to cover, while Jake smiled smugly. I told them I was there to let them know I wouldn't pay. They were furious, throwing in my face how much they sacrificed for me and insisting it was only fair to help Jake. I reminded them of their so-called sacrifices, like how I spent birthdays alone because Jake wanted to do something else, or how he got to blow out my candles and receive presents on my birthday. My parents briefly showed guilt but quickly reverted to their old ways, accusing me of being selfish. We argued for hours. They threatened to disown me again, and I told them they should have set Jake up better if they wanted him to avoid debt. I left, thinking I was done with their toxicity. However, my parents started posting lies about me on Facebook, calling me a cheapskate and claiming I didn't care about the family. This hurt my relationships with extended family and began to affect my business reputation. I decided to confront them, recording our conversation. At their house, I asked why they were lying. My mom threatened to smear my name further if I didn't pay, smiling as if she had won. I let her dig her own grave, then posted the recording on social media, exposing the truth. The family was shocked and disgusted by my parents' behavior. My parents and Jake were furious, but they couldn't deny the truth. They started sending angry messages, which turned into desperate apologies as they realized how isolated they had become. They begged me to forgive them and take down the post. Part of me wanted to believe them, hoping for their approval and love. I decided to give them a chance, and for a few days, things seemed better. We watched movies and had dinner together, but it didn't last long. Within 2 weeks, they were back to asking for money for Jake's college. When I refused again, they accused me of being ungrateful and not caring about the family. Realizing they only valued me for my money, I decided to cut all contact with them. I blocked their numbers and social media accounts, finally feeling free. However, my mother was determined. She started showing up at my door, threatening violence if I didn't help Jake. The threats escalated, and I knew I couldn't ignore them. My girlfriend, Emma, had been urging me to take legal action. I hesitated, still hoping for a resolution without involving the law, but my mother's threats grew more serious. I decided to confront my mother one last time. I showed up at her house and asked if there was any way to mend our relationship. She told me I should be ashamed and blamed Emma for tearing our family apart. Realizing I was getting nowhere, I left and filed a restraining order against her. Things seemed to calm down until my mother showed up at Emma's job, causing a scene and threatening her. Emma called me, shaken and upset. I rushed to her side and knew I had to protect us both. I spoke to my lawyer again and made the restraining order more inclusive and strict, covering both Emma and myself. From that day forward, I knew things would be okay. I had taken the necessary steps to protect my loved ones and myself from the toxicity of my family.